And for those of you who may have gotten here, because we are still adding more people in out of the 68 who are registered. We've got 36 here so far. So please make sure in the chat that you go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know your name, your chapter name, what's your category, and then your contact information, because each of you has the ability to save the chat. And so you can start connecting with people and reach out to them later. For those of you who don't know me, I am Jenny Bellinger. I am a BNI member since 2011. I am a business coach with Level Up Coaching. I work with Rockstar Direct Sales moms to help move them from making a few $100s a month to being in the top 1% of their company. And that's the category that I fulfill in my chapter of Extreme Business Builders in Edwardsville, Illinois. I've been a BNI trainer since November of 2015, and I have been training 50 ways to invite, I think, since 2017. So this is one of my favorite advanced trainings to do. The reason being, and for any of you who are here from Partners in Excellence, which was my very first chapter back in 2011, probably remember my first few months. Yes, Lynn Collins is here. Hi, Lynn. My first few months in BNI, I was killing it in the traffic lights, except for one area: visitors. And my vice president pulled me aside about 6 months in and said, "Hey, Jenny, you're doing a great job at referring and attending and doing your CEUs and having one-to-ones, but you've only had one visitor in 6 months. Is there something wrong? Is there something we can help you with?" And my response was, so just know that this came out of the trainer's mouth. My response was, "Well, I don't know anyone who wants to join BNI." See? Yeah, I see Bob Reynolds laughing. He's like, "Yep, that sounds like something Jenny would have said." Yeah, I thought that visitors were for members only. And the truth is there are a lot of different reasons. And so once that vice president explained to me all the different reasons to have a visitor and how you could get visitors, and she really helped me understand all of that, I became an inviting machine. And so since then, I'm a Gold Club member and have sponsored, at last count, over 10 members since then. Which, if you do the math, that's approximately 600 people that I've invited, with about 60 people who've actually shown up over the course of 10 years. It's actually way more than that, but I'm just letting you know that those are the approximate numbers. So what I'm going to be doing today as we get started now, though, is I do want this to be interactive. So we are going to be using the chat to respond. Again, if you have questions or a specific thing, please feel free to raise your digital hand. I have a 2-screen setup, so I will have, once I start sharing my screen, I will have the ability to be able to see who is raising their hand. But as I mentioned, John Bergman, who is here, he's here as my co-host. He will be keeping an eye on the chat, trying to answer any questions in there. And John, if you need to, please feel free to go ahead and ask me to slow down, because I'm a high D, high I, so I talk fast sometimes. And so please feel free to say, "Hey, people are needing you to slow down." Before we get started, though, I want to make sure that everyone who is here got the 2 documents via email yesterday. I sent it at about 5:45 p.m. Oh, look at Lori Yancey. Look at Marcy. That's awesome. I sent out 2 PDF documents. You don't have to print them out, but just know, oh, thank you, Dottie. Yes. Just know that you don't have to print them out, but it will make your life so much easier if you do. So if you do have the availability to print those, I'd highly recommend it. If there's anybody who doesn't have them, John, do you have the ability to put those in the chat? All right, John is going to put those documents in the chat right now, so you guys have access to those in case you need them. So, and then I'm going to, while he uploads those, I'm going to start sharing my screen. and we're going to get started on 50 creative ways to invite visitors to your chapter. And this is an advanced training. So at the end of today, I will let you guys know how many CEUs you're going to get from attending this training today. So let's get this puppy started. All right. So I've been doing this for a while now, as I mentioned, and over time, I have found 5 reasons that members don't invite. So in the chat, go ahead and put in what are some of the reasons you think members don't invite, or if you want to raise your hand and say it out loud, I would love to hear from some of you as well. Good. I see they just don't ask. They maybe have a fear of rejection. A full seat, I guess that means the category for somebody is full. Misconception about what a visitor is. People fear the no, the rejection, or they don't think of inviting visitors, right? Fear of infringing on time, not sure if the category is available or not, worried about explaining the details, nervous about asking, okay? Don't trust their chapter. Ooh, Bob's coming out with the big dogs right now. All right. So yeah, you guys have some great ones to get this started. Worried about the visitor being receptive to the social environment. Possible. So here, most of what you guys have to say fit into the 5 categories that that I have seen over the years, which is number 1, there are some members who just don't see the value in inviting. Now, luckily, that's pretty small, but as you remember, my little introduction of myself and why I wanted to become the trainer on this was because I didn't see the value in inviting originally. I thought inviting was just about getting members. And there are so many other reasons to invite than just getting members. So I didn't see the value in inviting. So I didn't. I also didn't know how to invite. So I didn't know how. Some people don't know who to invite. So this kind of fits into that, is the category full or not? Can I invite somebody who's, in a competing category that's already full? So many questions around that. Now, the next one is a kind of a technical thing, which is they don't make time to invite. They think, oh, I'll get around to inviting. Well, how many of you get around to the things that you say that I'll get around to it? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people shaking their head no. Right? Now, Bob already called us out on the next one, and they don't feel pride in their chapter. That's a hard one. That's a really tricky one. Now, I have good news for you. I can help you fix the first 4, numbers 1 through 4. I can help you fix those first 4 today. By 10 a.m., those first 4 will be taken care of. Everyone who's here will understand the value inviting. You'll know how to invite. You'll know who to invite. And you will have made time to invite. But if you happen to be someone or have a question about feeling pride in your chapter, that one you'll need to have a conversation with your chapter support director about if you need help with the pride in your chapter piece, because that's a tough one. And I can't help you fix that today unless I'm your chapter director. And then that's a whole other conversation we get to have later. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and get this started now. So today we are going to experience some paradigm shifts. So the first thing I'd like you guys to do is open up the workbook, the handout that says the 50 ways to invite script. 50 ways to invite script. And we're going to start with the very first part where it says the facts. The facts. So visitors are a vital component of any BNI chapter activity, and the individual and chapter health and growth are directly connected to the visitor traffic in your chapter. I had a really great conversation with a new member yesterday, and they were actually asking about well, how do I invite visitors? Because I haven't gotten the benefit of BNI yet. So how do I invite? And I said, well, if you want more referrals, you bring more visitors, because a visitor is a referral, right? So that amount of traffic that's happening in your chapter will directly impact your individual business health and your chapter health at the same time. Bringing visitors should not be seen as a chore for members, but rather as an opportunity to generate more business for your company. Because as you invite visitors, what do you think that does in the mind of the visitor that you've just invited when they come see who you're connected to? That's not rhetorical. You guys can answer that question. What's that, Bob? Did you?
So you're not playing stump the dummy here.
Yeah, Sendon says, yeah, you're seen as a leader, right? Julie says it builds credibility. Absolutely. When you invite a visitor to your chapter, especially in a chapter and where you are well received, and your visitor sees that, you become seen as a leader and more credible to your visitor as well. And they see all the professionals that you're connected to. One of the top things I hear from visitors as I visit many different chapters is they're always impressed with the variety of businesses that participate in BNI. They love seeing all the different types of businesses, that it's not all just real estate. It's not all just financial. It's not all personal care. It's not, they love seeing that there's a good variety in the chapters that they're visiting. The visitors represent a business opportunity for both the members and other visitors in the room. How many of you have seen visitors do business with other visitors? Yeah, I see lots of raised hands here. How many of you have done business, meaning you've received business from a visitor? Yep, seeing some raised hands. How many of you have given business to a visitor? Right? So there's a huge opportunity, not just for you, but also for the visitor and also for your other members when you invite visitors. And of course, how you deliver the product, how you invite them, is either going to turn them on to possibly joining if their category is open in your chapter, or how you invite could turn them off to joining BNI. But in the end, the way you treat your visitors will ultimately help them make the decision about joining or not joining. So, why should we invite visitors? So I'm going to stop the share for a second here. So your screen's about to change, everybody. Why should we invite visitors? Justin says, money. Jack, go ahead and unmute. Feel free.
My best customer to date made me lots and lots of money, and it was a visitor that never came back.
That's good to hear. Marcy says, visitors bring energy to the room. Dale says they grow the chapter and everyone's business, right? Grow the chapter and grow business. Good. Absolutely. There's lots of different reasons for inviting visitors. They are necessary. Absolutely. So let's jump into some of these reasons that you guys just talked about. Visitors are consumers. So that's the money piece, right? We know here in our local region, Visitors can account for approximately $1,100 within a few months after a visit to a chapter, meaning they will spend somewhere around $1,100 with someone or multiple people within a chapter. Visitors become new members. How many of you woke up one morning, stretched, and thought to yourself, I'm going to go join BNI today? Anybody? Nobody?
What's BNI?
Exactly, right? That's exactly the question I asked, except the gentleman who invited me, he said, you should totally come check out my BNI chapter. And I was like, what's BMI? I misheard him. Yeah. So you can't get a new member without a visitor. It's impossible, because one of the rules of applying is that you had to have visited a chapter. You can't just apply to a chapter without having visited. So in order to get new members, we've got to have visitors. That's part of the thing. And Marcy hit it right on the head. Visitors make the meeting fun. How many of you have been in one of your chapter meetings that was unintentionally a members only chapter meeting? Unintentionally, meaning nobody invited visitors that day, or all of them no-showed. I see lots of raised hands, right? And would you say the energy is different in a room, even a Zoom room, when there's visitors versus not visitors? Would you say the energy is different? Lori Yancey says total energy difference, right? Do you want to know the psychology behind why? For those of us who are members, we get a little dopamine hit because we go, ooh, there's someone new in the room. And we put on our A game because we want to impress the visitor, number one, for our business. And number two, we hope that they'll join, right? So it gives us, you get a literal dopamine hit every time a visitor shows up in a room, whether they're yours or not, because it makes you happy. You're like, ooh, something new. That's fun, right? They literally do change the energy in the room because they change the energy of everyone in the room. So, Lynn, she first heard of BNI from another flooring store owner in Missouri. And then when she was invited, she remembered his recommendation. Aw, that's nice. There you go. So let's take a look at some of the statistics. So now we are in the behind the numbers portion of that handout that I sent to you guys. So successful chapters understand the math of BNI when it comes to inviting visitors, because what we know is that not every person you approach with an invitation is going to say yes. And not everyone who says they will attend will actually show up. How many of you have invited somebody, they said they were going to show up and then they no-showed? Yeah. I've had that happen to me many, many times. It happens. Life happens, right? So in there are in that handout, you see some of the statistics that are there, which is for every 10 people that you approach to visit, 3 or 4 of them will say they will attend, but only 2 to 3 of them will actually show up. Now, that number of show ups increases if you make a confirmation call 1 to 2 days in advance. So you can take that 20 to 30% number and increase it to closer to a 50-50 chance of somebody showing up, or even above 50-50 by making a confirmation call. Now, it takes 10 guests who physically visit a chapter. Sorry, not 10 guests, 10 visitors. 10 visitors who physically visit a chapter to generate 1 new member. Approximately 1 out of 10 will become a new member. Those odds increase if your visitors are actual prospects. So if you have qualified visitors, meaning people who are in non-competing professions with existing members and those who have been invited on a stack day or a visitor day, those odds increase to closer to 2 or 3 out of 10 will join. Now, how many of you have heard that in marketing, it takes 5 to 7 marketing touches to go from high to buy, B-U-Y, right? 5 to 7. Guess what? That number is actually higher nowadays because we are so inundated with advertising and marketing. It actually takes 7 to 12 touches to take someone from high to buy, B-U-Y. Okay. So, but we know at minimum, it's 4 to 5 touches to turn a visitor into a member. So making sure you've got proper and prompt follow-up is everything. But unfortunately, only 40% of chapters in BNI properly follow up on their visitors. What? I see dropped jaws right now. People are shocked. I'm just kidding. Nobody is shocked at this, are you guys? Right? So now here's the thing. The more touches you have, the more likely they are to show up and the more likely they are to decide that they feel warm, welcome, and wanted and are willing to join for those who are a qualified visitor, qualified prospect. Lynn says probably that is probably dependent on the quality and perceived influence of the touch. Absolutely. So for example, when you invite your visitor and get them registered in the system, now your president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and your visitor host team all get an email saying that a visitor has been registered, and your chapter director does as well. So if the president of the chapter reaches out and says, "Hi, I'm the president of BNI is Fun chapter, and I see that you're coming to visit us next week. I'm really excited to meet you." That's probably going to be a pretty big influence if the president is reaching out to the visitor to say, you know, "Hey, I see you. I see you've been invited, and I can't wait to meet you." Right? Yes, Bob Reynolds sent me a private message that says, "Will likely have better visitor success when members work as a team and focus on purpose on making those connections." Absolutely. Yes. So when you have the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer sending out welcome messages, the visitor host making calls the day before to make sure that they know how to get to your location if you're a chapter that's meeting in person, making the call to make sure that you have the Zoom link if you are a Zoom-based chapter. Absolutely. All of those things add up to the various touches. And don't forget that when you invite, that's touch number 1. Touch number 2 is the registration confirmation email that they get from BNI Engage. That's touch number 2. Touch number 3 will come from someone in your chapter reaching out, whether it's visitor host, president, something like that. And hopefully, because they're your visitor, you're going to confirm with them the day before. That's 4 touches and they haven't even walked in the room yet. When they show up in the room, that's their 5th touch. Make sense? So that's how you can get 4 to 5 touches before they even get into the meeting. So the language of inviting. So now we're on page 2 under how to invite. There's the language of inviting, meaning you're just looking to get someone in the room, right? How's your business doing? Now, if you guys have heard of the GRIP method, GRIP, are you growing your business this year? Are referrals a good way to grow your business? Can I introduce you to a group of people who are trained referral partners? Place. Here's where we meet. On Zoom, at the outlet in Edison's, in Edwardsville, at fill in the blank, wherever it is that you may meet. So GRIP, are you growing your business this year? Are referrals a good way to grow your business? Can I introduce you to my trained referral partners? And where do we meet? So that's the GRIP method. So that's easiest way to invite. Now, the language of recruiting, this is for someone who could potentially join, and you are actively looking to get someone like them into your chapter. How's business going? I belong to a networking group of fill in the blank of number business and professionals. So your number might be 22, might be 16, might be 33, might be 8, whatever the number is. I belong to a networking group of fill in the number with whom I meet on a weekly basis for the purpose of passing referrals to each other. We are looking for a insert their industry in the blank to be a part of our network. And I thought of you. Would you be interested to come to our meeting and see if this might be a good fit for your business? So if they say yes, start the invitation process, start the registration process. If they say no, that's okay. I totally understand. We are not for everyone, but you probably know some other professionals in your line of work. Do you know another qualified insert their industry whom I can contact to offer this opportunity to? And I know some of you are like, oh, I could never say that. And that's okay. You don't have to. It's just one opportunity. Bob, do you want to say what you just sent me out loud?
Sure. I hear networking all the time, and networking it means a lot of things to different people. So I don't focus on networking, and I've talked to the people that I'm inviting. I specifically talked about we're a referral mastermind group, and we work together to help each other grow our businesses through referrals. And now we network to do that, but our goal is to focus on how can I best help you grow your business. And that approach is more appealing than just networking, because people go to lots of networking events, and they say, what happens as you go out the door? You look in the file 13, right?
Yep.
With their business cards, because everybody's there to sell, nobody's there to buy.
Right.
So you change the mindset of the visitors. They're there to buy.
Yep. There you go.
You're there to buy with them.
Mike, great question. The I in GRIP is introduce. Bob, thank you for sharing that. I agree. Mike, the I in GRIP is introduce. So grow. Are you growing your business? R is, are referrals a good way to grow your business? I is introduce. May I introduce you to my trained referral partners? And the P is the place. All right. Top 10 practices for inviting visitors. Now, this is going to be chapter and individual top 10 practices, and top 10 plus one, because we figured out there were actually 11. So it starts with making sure you are consistently updating your most wanted list. Include professions that are visiting your chapter that day. So your most wanted list is something that should be up on your PowerPoint screen or a board that you physically have at your chapter meeting that includes a list of the professions that you are looking to fill in your chapter. The visitors, because they've been pre-registered, you know what they do. Make sure you have their profession on that list the day they visit. That's how you begin to, through a silent way of letting them know we have an opening for them. Assuming, of course, they are in a non-competing profession. Announce at each meeting who your chapter is looking to give referrals to. Make sure your chapter is proactively hosting visitor days and stack days throughout the year. And we'll talk about those in just a little bit, the difference between a visitor day and a stack day. Consistently educate members on inviting techniques. How is your education coordinator educating you guys? Are they educating you on visitor inviting techniques on a regular basis? Because keep in mind, we have 4 meetings per month. You could pick the 5 key success drivers and just rotate through those, and you'd get a new inviting technique every 5 weeks. John, we can talk about that later. Thank you. All right. Number 5, run an effective and fun visitor host program in which all members participate actively. So you could be doing role rotation. So that way you don't have somebody who's always the person who's there early, somebody who's always the person staying late, but rotating through the different possibilities. And we do have a visitor host training for your chapter if you guys are interested on knowing how to do an effective and fun visitor host program. We have a training that can teach your chapter how to do that well. Have all members complete a professional profile on BNI Connect. I had a conversation, a one-to-one with another member earlier this week, and they shared with me that they got business from a BNI member in New York because their profile was filled out. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, reach out to your chapter director or your passport coordinator, and they will get you in touch with someone who can help you get your professional profile filled out. Require members to produce excellent sales manager moments when visitors are present. One would hope that they'd be doing excellent sales manager moments every week. One would hope. And if you don't know how to do an excellent sales manager moment, then perhaps you should block out Friday, January 7th and come to Maximize Your Membership, because we will teach you how to write an excellent sales manager moment. And you will have 13 of them written before you leave the workshop. Number 8, require new members to host their own visitor day. These are also known as ribbon cuttings. So have new members, help them, have your visitor host and growth coordinator work with your new members to host their own visitor day, their own ribbon cutting when they've graduated the passport program. Now, here's one that is sometimes a new idea for people. Always ask a visitor to bring someone with them. What if you could get a twofer? What if you could get a twofer? Ask your visitors to bring someone with them. If they are someone who knows someone else in their profession, or maybe they are not the decision maker in their company about membership or not, ask them to bring the decision maker with them. And then you get 2 visitors, and one of them will be able to make a decision based on their attendance at your networking event. Number 10, tap into other sources to spot businesses seeking exposure. So for example, I know there's a member who takes those, that junk mail you get in your mailbox with all those coupons and everything. Businesses paid to get in that. They paid to get into those advertising things that show up in your mailbox, which means they're looking for more business. So I know there are members that have taken those, called those companies and asked to speak to their marketing director and invited their marketing person to the chapter. And I am seeing lots of ideas popping up in the chat too, guys. So please feel free to check the chat. Now, here's the +1. Use social media to promote your chapter meeting, as well as any fun, formal, casual, or social events that your chapter is hosting in the next 30 to 60 days. Use social media to promote your chapter meeting, and also any fun, formal, or social events that your chapter is hosting in the next 30 to 60 days. So these could be after hours events that maybe your chapter is doing as a social. It could be a networking event. I know there are chapters that have had vendor events to get more businesses aware of their BNI chapter. Social media is a great way to do that, to get that information out there. So who are the visitors? Who should we be inviting? So remember, I told you we were going to talk about how to invite and who to invite. This is the who. Who are they? Where do you find them? So now we're on page 3 under identifying visitors. So the first circle of people that most BNI members will start by inviting are their family and friends. So remember at the beginning when I told you the story about the one visitor I had in my first 6 months? That was my husband. My one and only visitor was my husband. So first person I invited. They invite their coworkers, their customers, other people in their contact sphere, and then, of course, any profession not represented in the chapter. Those are all the very obvious, easy places to start finding visitors. So start writing down names of family and friends who are local here, or if you're a Zoom chapter, they don't have to be local. When my chapter was still on Zoom, I had visitors from Canada, Arizona, New York, India. It was great. I had people from all over come and visit. Create a list of who you know, friends, family, coworkers, customers, people in your contact sphere, and any profession not listed in your chapter. If you don't have a copy of the personal prospect list, feel free to send me an email if you want a copy of the personal prospect list, and I will send that to you. I'm putting my email in the chat right now. Send me an email with the subject line, personal prospect list. And later today, I will get that list to you and you can start filling in people you know in those different areas. Now, if you want to get on a more focused inviting process, really start looking more deeply into the hub professions, meaning what is the hub profession? What are the professions that come out from that? They are either upstream or downstream from you. So who are the businesses who are working with your clients before you do? Who are the businesses that are working with your clients after you do? Those are all considered part of the hub. You can also re-invite previous visitors. Re-invite previous visitors. Get them to come back, because guess what? Not everybody is a Jenny Bellinger who decides on the first time that, oh, I got to be a part of this. Some people take a little bit more time to make a decision. That's why we have the 2-visit rule. It's not really a rule, it's a policy, but you know. Service providers to your own business. Who is helping you with your business? Who's the web developer who helped you build your website? Who's the copywriter who writes all your newsletters? Who is the graphic designer who designed your logo? Who's your bookkeeper? Right? All of those things, all of those different service providers who provide services for your business. Who are the people that you want to meet? Go meet them and then invite them. Reach out to them through LinkedIn and then invite them. Who's a product provider for you? And of course, members of other networking organizations, chambers, rotaries. We are not in competition with them because we do things differently. They are welcome to come check out your chapter. Absolutely. Why not? So far we've hit all the different ideas. Now, where do you find all these people? I'm gonna stop the share. So your screen's gonna change here. Nothing wrong. It's just me like waking everybody up, changing things up a little bit. Put in the chat, where are some of the ways you're gonna meet all these people we just talked about? Where are you gonna find them? Where are they? I love how everyone's like, in the line at Home Depot. Yes. Facebook. Yes. There's 1 billion people on Facebook, y'all. We're approaching 2 billion now. My contacts in my phone. Look through your vendor list. Yes. Check your business. Yes. Yes. Sherry, exactly. Who do you write your checks to? Go look at your business bookkeeping and go, huh, who have I written checks to? Carl says he's met people at farmer markets, Walmart, Taco Bell, even at a ball game. John Bergman, community bulletin boards. Yeah. Those Panera bulletin boards. Sorry, Breadco. We're in St. Louis. I can actually call it Breadco, and you guys know what I'm talking about. I love it. When I network internationally and I call it Breadco, people look at me like, what's that? So I've gotten in the habit of Panera. So yes, those community bulletin boards, there's business cards up there for people who want business. That's why they stuck their business card up there. They literally want you to call them. They left their card there for you. I have gotten a visitor from standing in line at Schnucks. I was wearing my BNI name tag with remember all those ribbons we used to have? Those of you who've been around, remember all those ribbons? Somebody standing behind me in line said, what are all those ribbons? I said, oh, that's part of this referral group I'm a part of. They're like, you got all those? Yeah. Can I see? Can I meet these people? Sure. I think I could get you in. Absolutely. Alignable. Yeah. Alignable is another social media. I haven't played with Alignable very much yet. Let's see. What did Dan? I can't see that picture. What did you post?
You'll have to blow it up.
Oh no. Oh, here we go. Your life is filled with prospects. Oh, he put in a good picture there, guys. Look at that. Nice list. This is what Dan shared with us. Thank you, Dan.
Welcome.
Love it. All right. So that is in the chat for those of you who are able to access that in the chat. Sendin says alumni organizations. Yes, absolutely. Lots of different places to find people. I haven't, Diane says she uses Real Producer to find folks. So she's checking the magazine. She's also putting the people in the magazine. Let's see. Pumping gas at a neighboring pump. If their truck or van has a company name, bingo, potential visitor. Don't tell my insurance guy, but I have taken pictures while driving around of vehicles. I've taken pictures that have like an advertisement on the back of their car, truck, or van, taken a picture of them and then called them and invited them.
I've actually called them while they're driving.
I was a good girl and I waited till I was not driving. So there we go. Lori invited her neighbor's lawn service guy and he came to the meeting. I know somebody who invited the door-to-door salesperson who showed up at her door and said, I will listen to your sales presentation if you show up for lunch next week. I promise I will give you 20 minutes after you show up for that entire meeting. I will sit down and listen to your entire sales presentation. And it worked. Right? Marcy says people with signs in the yards of her neighbors. Right? So the roofer, the pest control person, the painter, whoever's doing work at that neighbor's house. Good one, Marcy. So lots of different places to find visitors that you maybe hadn't checked. I'm surprised nobody here yet has said LinkedIn. Did I miss it? I didn't see. I don't see LinkedIn anywhere in the list here.
I think I saw somebody mention LinkedIn earlier.
Did we?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Maggie said
Oh,
it.
there he is. Okay, Maggie did it. Thank you. Good job, Maggie. Good job. I did miss it, right? There's a lot of people on this call. Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, LinkedIn. If you are not using LinkedIn, if you don't know how to use LinkedIn, do we have anybody as a member who is a LinkedIn like expert who teaches LinkedIn? Because I'd love to give that referral. If you don't know how to use LinkedIn, Marcy, who are you pointing at?
Lori's waving.
Lori
her hand.
Yancey, man. Lori is the bomb.
There you go. Apparently Lori Yancey, girl. Yes. LinkedIn queen. There you go. All right. So let's jump back into presentation here. Got to get that out of my way here. Sorry. All right. So now we have talked about who, where to find them. So let's get into 50 ways. Why do we have 50 ways to invite? Why 50? Why do we have 50 ways? Shelley says, because not everybody invites the same way. John Bergman says it's a nice round number. It sounds fun to say 50 ways, right? Well, Shelley, you're right. You know, not everybody invites the same way, because out of all of these 50 ways that we're about a great song. Yes, Dan, that is a great song. 50 ways to invite, because there's going to be one that works for you. There might even be 2 or 3 different ways that will work for you depending on who you're talking to, right? Because the one way that works to get one visitor there may not be the same way that works to get a different visitor there, because surprisingly, people are different. It's totally shocking. I know. I'm seeing confused faces on all of your faces going, what? People are different? No, there's no confused faces. You guys all get that, right? So, because one way, at least one of them is going to work. So, Jeff, that's great. Hop on the bus, Gus. Invite the person whom you're sitting next to. Yes. All right. We have 50 ways because we know that there's going to be at least one way that will work. So when do we invite visitors? Well, when do you guys invite visitors? When's the perfect time to invite a visitor? Here's the thing.
All
And
the
it's-
time.
Yeah. When it's anytime and all the time, guess how often that happens? It doesn't. It doesn't, right? In order to become an inviting machine, if that's what you would like to do, you must schedule time in your calendar to get it done consistently. How many of you people live and die by what is in your calendar? If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't get done. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't get done. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't get done. This is true for me. This is true for a lot of people who just raised their hands. I saw lots of bobbleheads on the camera here. Lots of people were shaking their head going, yep, that's me. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't get done. So later, we're actually going to put some time in your calendar. We're literally going to do that because this is a workshop. This isn't just a training. We are going to literally pull out our calendars and put in time for the next 90 days. And we're going to do a little experiment and see how many of us do pretty well at inviting over the next 90 days. Because we actually put time in our calendar to do it. Now, here's the key. It's in your calendar. So you have to honor it and do it. No pushing it off, right? No doing something else instead. Use that time to invite. Okay, but we'll talk about what to do and how to do that in the workshop portion. So we're going to cover some helpful tips. So now you guys can pull out the second handout that was emailed to you that has the 50 ways, the 50 different scripts. And at the very tippy top of it are a few helpful tips. Ugh. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I haven't had enough caffeine yet. Some helpful tips. Number 1, don't say weekly, because no one's excited about weekly until they see it working. Don't say weekly, because no one is excited about a weekly meeting until they see it working. Thanks, Marcy. Number 2, don't say networking. Remember what Bob Reynolds said earlier? He doesn't call it networking because that's something people do everywhere else. B&I is a referral organization. And everyone loves referrals. Don't say networking, because that's something people do everywhere. BNI is a referral organization and everyone loves referrals. Do not use words like club or friends or join. It's not your job to sell the membership. Because it's the meeting that sells BNI. It's our referral event, right? Don't try to sell BNI, because the meeting is what sells it. Your fellow members should be helping you sell the membership, because they want to be a part of this group of people. Yes, John, exactly. It's not your job to sell BNI. It's your job to get visitors to the meeting. Get them in the room. All right. So number 1, and by the way, guys, I'm going to give you guys a really quick, like, technical thing that's going to help you guys out. If you have a highlighter or a pen with a different colored ink or a crayon or a colored pencil or something, keep that close by, because what I want you to do is, as we go through these 50 different ways to invite, put a mark next to your favorite ones that you go, ooh, I would totally say that. Okay. So make sure you have an additional pen, marker, something, highlighter, or just like put stars or something. Do something to denote your favorite ways of the 50. Because if I just give you all 50 of them and go, all right, guys, you have all 50, good luck, but I don't help you pick out the ones that you actually like, what are the chances you're going to use any of them? Pretty small, right? So number 1, move your appointments with your prospect to immediately before or after the meeting, and then have them meet you at your meeting place. Invite them to come and stay, or invite them to show up early, have lunch or coffee with your referral mastermind, and then have your appointment with them afterwards. Number 2, ask their availability in the distant future. So for example, we are going into tax time. Is now the time to invite a tax preparer? No, they don't need business right now. They're already looking at January, February, March, and April, thinking, how am I going to fit this all in? Right? You talk to a tax preparer and invite them in June. After they've had time to catch their breath, catch up with their own admin work on their own business, right? Invite them in the distant future. And that is true for any and all businesses that have seasonal work, right? Do your fellow members trust you with their letterhead? You could also replace the thing that says letterhead with logo. Do they trust you with their letterhead or logo? Could you send an invitation using the logos of your chapter members, saying, I'm part of a referral mastermind that includes boom, 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 all these different logos? I already see some people going, ooh, I like that one. Highlight it. Put a star next to it. Create a Google Drive and go put all of your members' logos in there and give everybody access. Right? That could be one way that you invite. We've got all of these amazing companies as a part of our referral mastermind. Number 4, let's sign the contract at my favorite place to meet. Where's your favorite place to meet? Your B&I meeting. Now, for those of you who are on Zoom, do a DocuSign on Zoom. All right. Does everybody have that? Number 5. This is in the context of you're having a meeting with somebody and they share something that is really profound. And your response can be something along the lines of, that's a really insightful bit of wisdom. Would you be interested in sharing it? So what you're going to do then is you're going to connect with your education coordinator and say, hey, I just had a really great conversation with somebody and they're coming as a visitor on January 15th. I don't even know if that's a date that there's a meeting happening, but you know what I'm talking about. And they had something really cool that they shared with me at my coffee date with them. Could I have them share that little bit of wisdom during the education moment? Here's what they said. So you give the visitor a chance to give a little education moment or an attitude adjuster. Maybe they had a great quote. Maybe they shared something on Facebook, one of those inspirational posts. Those can make some really great attitude adjusters, right? Number 6. How would you like me to owe you a really big favor? So this would be a pre-meeting visit before this person would be your sub. One of the greatest ways that you can make sure your sub feels really comfortable about subbing for you is to have them go to your referral mastermind with you before they go as your sub. You get to introduce them to people. They feel comfortable with those in the room, and they count as a visitor because you're there. When they show up as your sub, they are not a visitor. They are a sub. Make sense? So one person, they get to show up as a visitor the second time they're a sub because they're subbing for you when you go on vacation, when you go to your company conference, when you know, whatever that may be. Number 7, would you like to meet the president? And of course, we're talking about your chapter president. So hopefully you actually like your president. I know that you're too busy for referrals. So who is a trusted competitor? Now, remember how I said that there's lots of different people? And I'm sure some of you just thought to yourself, I could never say that. And there's some of you who look at that and go, oh yeah, I will so say that. Some of you will never say that in a million years, and that's okay. That's why we have 50 different ways. But those of you who are loving this, like, raise your hand if you love this phrase. Like, oh, you're too busy for referrals? Sure. Who do you send your overflow to? Who do you trust to do the work that you can't do? Right? I saw lots of hands go up on that one. That was awesome. That's good. But I know there's some of you who are like, I could never, and that's okay. Number 9, can I take you to lunch and also introduce you around? Of course, if you're a morning chapter, you can I take you to coffee? Right? Just change the word. Can I take you to lunch and also introduce you around? For those of you who are meeting in person, I insist on picking you up. It's my way of treating you with the respect you deserve. I insist on picking you up. So you would literally go pick them up from their office, take them to lunch with your referral partners, and then take them back to the office at the end of the meeting. I have literally done this back in the day. Any of you who've ever been in network marketing, you know how that goes. You literally pick up your team to get them to the meeting, to get them to the training. It works for this as well. All right, Maggie, good to hear. Number 11, we're hosting a training session. Can I take care of your ticket? How often do we have trainings at your BNI meeting? I think I read Susan Willis's lips, and I think she said every week. Good. We have a training every single week, do we not? Don't we have a keynote speaker training us on what they do and who they need to meet in order to grow their business? Don't we have sales manager moments, weekly presentations every single week training us how to refer our partners? Every single week. We're hosting a training session. Now, if you guys are actually bringing in some sort of expert to speak to your chapter, it's up to you if you want to invite outside visitors. Number 12. This is why we put the most wanted up on your slideshow every week. Because now number 12 is not a lie if you're able to say everyone has been asking for someone like you. It's even more effective if you can say, I've got 3 people who have asked to meet you. Instead of everyone's asking to meet you, I've got 3 people who want to meet you. How many of you would go to an event where somebody says, I've got 3 people who want to meet you? Would you show up at an event where 3 people want to meet you? I see lots of raised hands. That's good. Right? And then make sure you ask members to tailor their presentation to match the visitor. Number 13. What are you doing at, and then insert a specific time, 3 weeks from today? I know you're busy, so I was wondering if we could schedule a meeting then. And then they come in and they get to hear the VP earnings report. So how much money is your chapter? So this would be the last few minutes of your chapter meeting. They come in and they get to hear how much money your chapter has passed around during the thank you for closed business and the VP report. If they don't have 90 minutes, they can come find out how much money is happening. And they might make time for the 90 minutes in a few weeks. Change your voicemail during your BNI meeting. Hello, at this exact moment, I'm giving a presentation to my referral partners. Please leave a message and I will call you back shortly. You can change your message, especially during your keynote. If you don't want to change it every single week, at least change it during your keynote. See how many people leave a message. Could start a conversation. I'll have my people call your people and then have the visitor host reach out on your behalf. People don't like to disappoint people that they don't already know. They don't want to make a bad first impression on someone they don't know. Number 16. I would love your advice. Would you come observe our meeting and give me some feedback? You know who you invite using this one? The most opinionated person you know. The person who gives you their opinion, whether you want it or not. At least now you're asking for it. I'm seeking your advice. Would you come observe our meeting and give me feedback? I've got a gift for you. Would you like to meet to get it? So this could be if, this is especially helpful if you have clients, vendors, etc., that you weren't able to get your holiday gift to before Christmas. So maybe you can have them meet you in January to come pick it up. It's not you, it's who you know. You are so connected. Who do you recommend that we contact? It's not you, it's who you know. You are so connected. Who do you recommend that we contact? Number 19. Last week, someone asked specifically for you, which is why I want to bring you to impress them. Will you help me? This is why it is important to be very specific in your weekly presentation and ask for specific people, because then someone can use this as an inviting technique to bring the person you asked for to show up to your chapter meeting. Be specific. It's my anniversary. I'm bringing the donuts. Or it could be your ribbon cutting or your keynote presentation, or it could just be your turn to bring the donuts for your chapter. I'm going to give you guys a hint. The week that you are the keynote presenter for your chapter should be the easiest week you have to invite visitors. It's the easiest time to get people to show up. But here's the thing. You have to start inviting like 3 weeks. You have to start inviting them like 3 weeks ahead of time if you actually want people to show up. Susan, you are welcome to take a bio break. We are recording this and you will have access to it because of your chapters down south who are doing this. So I'm just going to go into more about the inviting for your keynote presentation. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing for a hot second here because I want you, this is important, guys. When you are the keynote presenter for your chapter, you should fill the room with people because this is the easiest time to get visitors. Hey, Dan, I'm the keynote speaker at my referral mastermind in a few weeks. I would really love it if your smiling face would be in the audience to support me. Do you think you could be there for a little while and I'll introduce you around to some people who've been asking to meet you? Would that be okay? Right? You're asking for people. I literally ask for people's smiling faces when I'm the keynote presenter. Some of you have gotten that email in the past 10 years. Would you come be a smiling face in the room when I'm presenting? I literally use those words. And I fill the room when I'm a keynote presenter. So does Mark Breimer. That's how Boom does their best to try and win every year. They get Mark Breimer to present during Race to Success or March Madness. Y'all know that, right? He gets 80 people in the room by himself when he's keynote presenter, and he starts inviting a month ahead of time. And he sends reminders and confirmations, all the things we've been talking about. Okay. Questions so far? We're 20 in out of 50. Jeff agreed. Great time to invite your best client because they're going to come in and tell everybody how awesome you are too. All right, number 21. We want to improve our appearance. And we are seeking a visit from a photographer, videographer, and graphic designer to our network. You can change this to anyone who is in a social media marketing, public relations type position. Anything that's in that visual appearances type realm. '22. I was in a meeting with my most trusted referral partners, and I found myself thinking about your business. And then the transition is, and I feel like you should meet these most trusted referral partners. Would you be open to meeting them? '23. Come hear our keynote speaker who asked for someone like you. So this is why it's important when you're the keynote speaker to be very specific about who you want your members to invite so that they can use number 23. Number 24. BNI is not a product. It's a process. It has personally brought me X number of referrals in the last 12 months. And for those of you who don't know, you can open up your BNI Connect mobile app, and right there on the very front page, it'll tell you exactly how many referrals you've received in the last 12 months. Do you want to learn more about the process? BNI is not a product, it's a process. It personally brought me X number of referrals in the last 12 months. Do you want to learn more about the process? 25. Because of planning and space requirements, only registered visitors can attend. Would you like me to register you? This is especially true for those of you who have chapters meeting in person. Although if you're a Zoom chapter, I think most of you have limits of 100. So depending on, how many you have in your chapter plus number of visitors, there technically is a space requirement. Jeff Solomon, yes, we will talk about the BNI mobile app downloading process at the end as part of Q&A. Please remind me to do that then, Jeff. All right, we're halfway through. How many of you already have one or two favorites that you've highlighted or starred or done something with so far? Good. Good. I love hearing that. Oh, look at those raised hands. I love it. All right, number 26. We may be looking for a new venue soon. Can you come advise us? You should only use this if your chapter is actually looking for a new venue. Don't lie, okay? But if you guys are really looking for a new venue, this is a great time for you guys to invite venue managers, event planners who can come see your chapter, see what you guys do, and they can give you some ideas of places to go. Number 27, you are a talented speaker. Would you come to a meeting to help me prepare for my own upcoming keynote presentation? So now you're getting a visitor who's coming to your meeting a few weeks before your presentation so they can see like what kind of stuff happens at your meeting and who's there. And then somebody who is really talented at speaking and preparing a keynote with you would help you prepare a keynote that is tailored to the people in your room and how you can get referrals. And then they're hopefully going to come back the day you give your keynote presentation as a visitor again. One would hope that you would invite them back to actually see their good work. Number 28. Let me write a commercial for you that you can try out with a large group of well-connected professionals. The commercial is the sales manager moment. How many of you would feel comfortable writing a sales manager moment for someone, for a visitor that you were inviting? All you have to include, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. A great sales manager moment starts with who are they? What problem do they solve? And who do they need to meet that week? If you cover those three things, who are they? What problem do they solve? And who do they need to meet to grow their business? That's how you write their commercial. How many of you now feel comfortable writing a commercial for a visitor? Good, I see way more hands. Number 29. This is really going to age some of us when we see this. And now for something completely different. This is how you invite the wallflower at the huge event to come to your referral mastermind. You remember back in the day when the chambers and those networkathons would have like 250, 300, 400 people in a room. And there was that group of people who were just all around the edge of the room, clutching their drink for dear life. Right? They're there because they know they have to be, but you can tell that they don't want to be there because they don't like big groups of people. This is how you get them to visit your referral mastermind, because you're going to promise them the opposite, a smaller group, tighter agenda. They don't have to do the chit chat part if they don't want to, but you'll probably introduce them to a couple of key people that they should know, which is okay for an introvert. Number 30. What if I could tell you that I have 10 guaranteed meetings for you? So the way you do this is if there's someone, a visitor you've been trying to get to come to your referral mastermind, you go to your chapter and say, hey guys, I'm trying to bring Bob Smith, who is a CPA. How many of you would have a meeting with Bob Smith if I brought him as a visitor in the next month? How many of you would go have coffee with Bob Smith? And then you count the number of hands in the room. And then you go tell Bob, I've got 8 people. I've got 10 people. I've got 13 people who want to meet you. How many of you, once again, would show up in a room if you had 13 people who wanted to meet you? So that one takes a little bit of prep work, but it can be done. Or you can just send an email to your chapter or use your chapter's group chat or however you guys communicate. 31. I want to do more than just Yelp the testimonial that I have for your business. So when you bring your visitor during the I have portion, you can give a testimonial for your visitor and say how awesome they were when you visited their restaurant, when you went to their salon, whatever it is, give the testimonial for your visitor. This one is especially good for companies that have recently rebranded. Come test drive your new marketing message. $33. check the mutual friends feature of your favorite social media service and get 3 calls in one day. So this is where you're going to take a look at who you have in common with the potential visitor. And help connect them to those 3 people. Meaning you're going to connect them to people in your chapter through social media. If this wasn't a good use of your time, I will meet you halfway on your hourly rate. If this wasn't a good use of your time, I will meet you halfway on your hourly rate. I have used this on a couple of people. I've never had to pay out. But my plan was if I did have to pay out, I was going to try and get a gift card for someone in the chapter and get a referral and a thank you for closed business out of it at the same time. Number 35. Come share your job posting with the most connected people in our community. So if you know someone who's looking to hire, invite them to your chapter. Maggie, absolutely. This is a big one right now. Number 36. Would you like to be able to say, I have a person for that? This is a really good one. This is a really good one to use when there is someone new to the community. "37. Come share the biggest myth about your profession with the people in the community who are best suited to help fight that myth." Now, I have to say, when I have trained this particular method at chapters, chapters have decided to do a Mythbusters Day as one of their theme days. And everybody's sales manager moment was they shared the biggest myth about their chapter. And then the fact that disproved that myth. Right, Dan? I wish I came up with it. Jeff. A myth-defying meeting. That's good. All right, 38. I want to apologize for not inviting you to this meeting I went to today. We've got another one in 2 weeks. Our professional relationship is at the next level, which is why I want to tell you about an invitation-only opportunity. This is especially effective on people who care about exclusivity. Thanks, Bob. Our professional relationship is at the next level, which is why I want to tell you about an invitation-only opportunity. Again, this is best used with someone who likes exclusivity. They are the person who likes to be the first one, the only one to have this device, this purse, this whatever. They want to be the first, the only. They love it. Number 40, we are looking for a celebrity judge this week. Now, this one is part of a meeting stimulant and has to be approved by your chapter president. So this is where you basically do a contest in your chapter for the best sales manager moment of the week, and you literally invite celebrity judges. So it can be the mayor for the town where your chapter meets. It can be some local celebrities from the town where you meet. It can be the chamber director. We're looking for a celebrity judge this week. Would you come be our celebrity judge? So you're not going to use this one very often, but it can be used. So make sure you check with your chapter president. For those of you who are chapter presidents and you have no idea what I'm talking about for this meeting stimulant, send me an email with the subject line, meeting stimulant. And I will send you a whole document that has tons of ideas for meeting stimulants. I will only send it to you if you're a president, though. Just saying. Number 41. I'll happily take your sales meeting, but first. Remember how I told you somebody used this? This is where they learned it. Yes, I will sit and listen to your pitch, but you have to come to my meeting first. I'll exchange you pitch for pitch. 42. How can I help you with your business goals? How can I help you with your business goals? Because once you know their goals, if their goal is to grow by a certain amount, and you think that your chapter could provide that number of referrals or approximately that much business for them, then you can turn it into the invitation. 43. I'm trying out a new way of explaining my business. Do you want to hear it? So this can be a new sales manager moment that you're doing. It could be your keynote presentation. Number 44. This one involves you actually doing a little bit of prep work. Here's a picture of a seat with your name on it. So you're literally in the room where you meet, going to grab a chair and write that person's name on a piece of paper, put it on the chair, and send them the picture via text message or email saying, I have a seat with your name on it. Now, if you're trying to be funny and they understand your sense of humor, you send it to them once a month until they show up. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then don't. It's okay. But if you're someone like me who can be a little facetious at times, I would send that picture, I would save it in my photo roll, and I would send it once a month until that person showed up. Number 45. I know you're traveling soon. Did you know about the businesses in that area? And then you can go to, depending on where they're going, BNI Mid-America, BNI.com, or BNI Connect to connect them to businesses in the area where they're going. If they're going to somewhere in Florida, here are some restaurants that I'm aware of. Here's a hotel that I'm aware of down there. Here is a dentist that I'm aware of down there. How many of you have done business with a BNI member in another town or city because that's where you happen to be and you knew you could trust them? I have. So what if you use this as a way to tell people, I have a network that extends outside of our area. I can connect you to people. Now, for those of you who still carry around the business card holder, print up a nice little business card that looks like them and stick them in your card holder and show them what it would look like if they were a member. You would be in my card holder with all these other amazing people. Yes, Dan, it could be an Easy Card or a Biz Pro Mobile. Absolutely. Number 47. during any meeting promotion, you could do gift bags, swag bags for your visitors that include all kinds of local business coupons. And if they wanted to be a part of it, they come visit their chapter to drop off their coupons, drop off their gift certificates, whatever they're providing. And they come check out the meeting and they can be a part of the gift bag for 1 week. Make sense? But they don't get to participate if they don't visit. Do you offer delivery? So this could be flowers, baked goods, printing, promotional products. If they will deliver to you, have them deliver to the meeting. And then invite them to stay. What is the slowest time of year for your business? What is the slowest time of year for your business? Again, do not invite a tax preparer in March or April. Probably not the best idea to invite a lawn service in the middle of July. Number 50, we only have 1 seat for your profession. So we've given you guys 50 different ways. What are some of the outside of the box or unique ways that you have invited that we didn't cover? What are some of the unique ways that you might have invited that we didn't already discuss? Lori says invite lawn service people now because they might have wintertime services. Good. Send in. Go ahead and unmute.
Hey, what's it called? It's sort of a tag on to using your keynote presentation, but what I've noticed is that time frame of 3 weeks, 2 weeks out is start stacking up like one-to-ones with people outside of your chapter, which are potential visitors. And during the one-to-one with them, you invite them. So it's sort of like an in-person invite versus like an email or something like that, you know? And so I've seen that has been very effective.
Good.
So,
I like it.
Jenny, I talk to chapters all the time about being able to deliver on the opportunity for the member that you're inviting or the guest that you're invited, the visitor you're invited, to be able to talk about their business. In a BNI meeting, that's less than a minute. That's
Mhm.
not really capitalizing on them getting to talk about their business. In our chapter, we have about 5 people that I know every single week are there up to an hour before, but at least 45 minutes prior to the networking time. And we use that time to really talk to the person about their business and get to know them better and deliver on getting them, you know, having them talk about their business. And I
Mhm.
got that idea from Mark Breimer.
Nice.
And I said, how are you successful? You know, and that's one of the techniques he uses, but your chapter has to be able to deliver on that.
Right.
Because how many times you've been sitting in your meeting when your member comes in 5, 10, or even 15 minutes late? You can't deliver on talking to the visitor with your team that doesn't support you.
Very good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So what Bob was saying is, you know, having members who show up early, not just 15 minutes, but 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes early to talk to visitors and have that opportunity to really network before we get into the agenda. Dale says, asking people, what if I could put you in front of a bunch of business people who could bring you new referrals on a regular basis? That's a good one. All right. So this is the workshop portion. All right. This last 15 minutes, we're going to get some work done. So first thing you're going to do, I want you to look through that list of 50. Remember how I told you to have a highlighter or a pen of a different color or something? Count up how many of the 50 statements and put in the chat how many are ones that you would actually use. What are your favorite? It might be 5, it might be 10. Count through how many of them were like good. Dan, I like that. Yes. The Mythbusters one. It is really fun because one of the chapters that did it after I did the 50 ways to invite training in chapter, they invited me to go participate in it. And so I went and participated. That was a really fun meeting. We laughed a lot in that meeting and they got a couple of members from that, just so you know. It was very effective. Good. I'm glad to see there are so many that you guys like. This is awesome. So remember how I said one of the reasons we don't invite is because we don't make time to invite, correct? So if you're willing to really take advantage of this, because let me point this out to people. Information minus implementation equals information. It's just information. Information plus implementation equals growth. When you implement what you just learned today, when you actually do this, you are going to grow. Your business is going to grow. Your chapter is going to grow. So what I'd like you to do is open your calendar, digital, paper, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me which one you use. Pick a day and time that is consistent. For me, my calendar, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. are my BNI Power Hour. I use that time to identify, prospect potential visitors. I use that time to invite. I use that time to confirm visitors who have said yes. I use that time to do my CEUs. I do a whole hour, but if you guys are just doing inviting time, you could just do 15 minutes if you want. You don't have to do a whole hour. But a consistent day and time for the next 90 days, January, February, and March, minimum of 15 minutes to prospect, invite, confirm. So you'll spend 5 minutes prospecting, finding people to invite, 5 minutes inviting, 5 minutes confirming those who have said yes. Make sense? Get that on for those of you who are on a digital calendar, put it as a repeating event for a minimum of 90 days, 12 weeks, 12 occurrences, minimum. For those of you who are on paper, write it down 12 times. same day, time, same time slot, same bat time, same bat channel every single week. And what I would love to know is how many visitors you guys are going to commit to inviting in the next 90 days. How many will you invite in the next 90 days? Now, notice I didn't say to show up. How many will you invite? Because I'm going to save this chat and then I'm going to send an email. Just kidding. I'm not really. I mean, if you want me to, I will, but right? Put that number down. And then each and every week, cross off that number on your calendar. I invited 3 more people today. Show progress, right? That's how we advance with this. How many are you going to invite? What's your goal to get to show up? How many visitors would you like to have show up? So we just talked about how many we're going to invite. How many would you like to have show up in the next 12 weeks? Yes, Marcy.
Jack and I are in competition.
Yeah, you are. I hear all about it. Good. And what I can tell you, and the other business coaches who are on this call can probably confirm this for me. The more you invite, the better you're going to get. Your conversion numbers of getting people to actually show up are going to get better the more you do this. The more you practice it, the better you get at asking, the more people who will actually show up. All right, now's the time for questions. What questions do you have about inviting, who to invite, where to find them, any of these methods we just talked about?
Jenny, I thought that celebrity judge is just a tremendous idea. I think that can be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could say that was my idea, but it wasn't. That was not my idea. It's in the meeting stimulant. So presidents, those of you who are presidents in your chapter, your president's manual should have a meeting stimulant portion in the manual. If you don't have that, I have a document that includes all of that. So if you are a chapter president, you can reach out to me and I will happily send you the meeting stimulant document.
Penny, I had one person ask me through the chat because they had missed a couple of the 50 ways. Was there anybody else that possibly missed any of the 50 ways that you need us to fill in for you before we close out the meeting?
Number 15. I'll have my blank call your blank.
I'll have my people call your people.
People don't like to disrespect people they don't already know.
Thank you.
All right, number, let's see, you said 23.
Our keynote speaker who asked for someone like you, that's 23.
Okay, number 14 was also requested, which is hello. At this exact moment, I'm giving a presentation to my referral partners. That's number 14. That's changing your voicemail. Let's see, number 19. Last week, someone asked specifically for you, which is why I want to bring you to impress them. Will you help me? Number 24. BNI is not a product, it's a process. It personally brought me X number of referrals in the last 12 months. Do you want to learn more about the process? Number 35. Come share your job posting. So there's another chapter I know who did a job fair based on that particular one. So they invited all businesses that were hiring, and they also asked visitors to invite people who were looking for jobs. And apparently it worked. There were a couple of people who got jobs and a couple of businesses who got some new employees. I don't know how well they worked out long term, but it was a very effective technique. All right, so we've had a couple of questions. The recorded version is going to be shared. Once we get off this Zoom, I will be, my computer will convert the recording. I will be sending the recording to Nicole Muskies. Nicole will send out the recorded version on a YouTube link, a private YouTube link, so that you can watch this again. And you will have the availability to watch that again. So that will be shared out with those who were registered to attend.
Jenny, I also had some who had contacted me because their chapters are meeting, and I told them that I would also send out the link to those chapters as well who couldn't attend. So she'll be sending it to me and I'll be forwarding it on to them.
Absolutely. Yes. So there were a few Thursday morning chapters who actually decided to meet today. Oh my goodness. Mine was not one of them, which is why I was available to meet Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. So any other questions? I think there were a couple more in the chat. I know Jeff Solomon, you had wanted to ask, there were some people who maybe didn't know how to do the app.
Both the app as well as the BNI digital card. I think those are both very valuable to have on.
Absolutely. All right. So I will talk about the app really quickly for those of you who may not be aware of or may not have yet downloaded the BNI Connect mobile app. This is available in both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So it doesn't matter if you're iPhone or Android. You can download the BNI Connect mobile app, and it is our official mobile app that is connected to the BNI Connect system. And it looks, the icon is the bright red one. As soon as my camera decides to focus, it's the bright red one that has the BNI logo. Okay. So there's that. Tom, I will have you talk about the BNI Biz card that we have available. How do people access the Biz card?
So I will be sharing that out via email, like I did with this. And if anybody has any issues or problems, certainly give me a call. But I'll share the link. You'll be able to click on the link. When you do, it'll open up with a QR that you can then scan and download onto your phone. So I'll send it out via email to everyone. And it has everything about BNI Mid-America that you need. Quick access to the chapters, to members, again, to BNI Mid-America TV, to your support people, the ambassadors and directors. So just a lot of information there. Path to Profit for new members that need to know the steps. It's all built in there as well. So, but I will send out that link again. They click it, it will open up on their computer with a QR that they can then scan and download to their phone.
Absolutely. And the app that Tom is talking about, this is the BNI Mid-America app that is all about our local region, which stretches from St. Charles, Wentzville area, all the way out to Effingham, Illinois, as far north as Alton Godfrey, and as far south as Carbondale, Marion here in the St. Louis and Southern Illinois region. So this includes everyone, all 1,000 members. What are we at, 59 or 60 chapters now? It will also include some of our pre-core chapters that are about to launch. So you can find all of that on there as well. All right. Any other questions? I'm checking the chat now. For those of you who thanked me for the training, you are welcome. I'm so glad you guys invested your time to be here during a holiday week when many people take this time off from work. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I love when people are willing to come and learn and then begin to do this. And yes, Dan, thank you for the reminder. So this is an advanced training. So normally CEUs are counted for 1 hour for one CEU for every hour. But guess what? This is an advanced training. Advanced trainings are 4. Oh my gosh. You were here for 2 hours, but you get 4 CEUs. So go into your BNI Connect mobile app right now. And log in for CEUs.
All right, Jenny, I'm going to steal time for a second. I want to personally say thank you for teaching this. My goal was to help us as we go into Race to Success, get as many people out there as possible with some new ideas and the ability to invite new visitors and new people. And this has been a lot of great information, and really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And your check for $10,000 will be in the mail from Victor, in the next couple of days. So, no, I do appreciate you doing this. And when we talked about, up front doing this, it's just a great opportunity for people to learn something new. And many people do struggle with visitors and how to invite and who to invite. And I think the information you provided today was really great and beneficial. And so again, appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Tom. No, like I said, I'm more than happy to do this. I love this one. Training is, I am going to toot my own horn. Training is one of my superpowers. This is something that I absolutely love to do. I'm passionate about doing it. I love helping people advance in their lives. So if you want to learn more about how I train and what else I do to train, not just in BNI, but also in my business, I'd be happy to have a one-to-one. I will put my scheduling link if you would like to have a one-to-one with me in the new year. I would love to meet with you too. And for those of you who don't know Tom Liebenrud, he is the brand new area director for Southern Illinois. Whoop, whoop. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And there's my scheduling link, you guys. You can go ahead, and if you would like to book with me, yes, I know it is booked out to like February. And that's allowing 3 BNI one-to-ones per day. So yeah, I got beat by one chapter member last month on number of one-to-ones, and that's because he's new. And so he met more people than I did. But every month I take one-to-ones in my chapter because I do 5 to 10 one-to-ones per week because I don't just network regionally. I literally network internationally using BNI. And if you are someone who can do business anywhere in the country and anywhere in the world, and you want to know how to get referrals from other states, other countries, I would be happy to have a one-to-one with you and teach you how to do that because I do it all the time and it's awesome. I'm squeezing as much juice out of this BNI orange as I possibly can. And I literally have a network anywhere in the world. So if I go to Montreal, Canada, I've got people who've told me if I don't stay at their house, they're going to be offended. It's pretty awesome. All right. Well, we are done, guys.